help out around the house as much as I can, whether that's cleaning the dishes, putting dishes into the dishwasher, taking out of the dishwasher, or cleaning the counter.
My favorite pastime is reading, and I love the horror and fantasy genre, and I love books by J.K. Rowling and Anne Rice and Nora Roberts. And one of my favorite writers is Stephen King, and even though he is a man, he writes some pretty powerful female characters, like the mom from Cujo, or Christine the car, or Carrie, who takes her revenge on everybody at the prom.
Hi, my name is Alexandra. I'm 21 years old.
My name's Erin Hahn.
My name is Sarah Park, and I'm 21 years old.
Hi guys, I'm Amanda. I'm 17 years old.
Hi, I'm Deb Lester.
I am gonna be a transfer student to Ramapo this coming fall. I graduated from Bergen with an associate's in science, and now in the Ramapo, I'm hoping to get my bachelor's in science to fulfill my dreams of being a social worker.
I'm a senior studying global studies and anthropology at the University of South Carolina here in Columbia. I don't really know what I want to do. I think I want to move back to Italy and teach English, but even if I can't do that, I really want to teach English in general. I really love learning and studying and culture and video games and cats and, just a lot of things.
I'm currently a junior at Rutgers University, New Brunswick, studying psychology. After graduating with my bachelor's, I hope to become an elementary school teacher one day.
I am a junior at Paramus High School, and I want to go to Montclair State University to major in forensic psychology.
I've been a wife for 25 years. I'm a mom, and I was a professional manager for over 30 years.
I think the quote that stood out to me the most was, this is how you love a man, and if this doesn't work, there are other ways.
This is how to hem a dress when you see the hem coming down, and so to prevent yourself from looking like a slut, I know you so are bent on becoming.
You mean to say that after all, you are really going to be the kind of woman who the baker won't let near the bread?
This is how you love a man, and if this doesn't work, there are other ways, and if they don't work, don't feel too bad about giving up. This is how to spit up in the air if you feel like it, and this is how to move quick so that it doesn't fall on you. This is how to make ends meet. Always squeeze bread to make sure it's fresh.
Mr. Capasi felt insulted that Mrs. Das should ask him to interpret her common, trivial little secret. She did not resemble the patients in the doctor's office, those who came glassy-eyed and desperate, unable to sleep or breathe or urinate with ease, unable, above all, to give words to their pain.
It flattered Mr. Capasi that Mrs. Doss was so intrigued by his job. Unlike his wife, she had reminded him of its intellectual challenges. She had also used the word romantic. She did not behave in a romantic way toward her husband, and yet she had used the word to describe him. He wondered if Mr. and Mrs. Doss were a bad match, just as he and his wife were.
I don't know, that really stood out to me because I really like how the short story, it doesn't really date itself. It can take place at any time, because it can take place back when you still left clothes on rocks to dry, but so much of it still applies to today. And just the idea that the people who are teaching you are telling you that if you don't have a man to accept your love, then you just have to keep trying. And I think at the end it says don't feel too bad about giving up, but it immediately has the connotation where you should just try with another person. And I don't know, I think it's really still prevalent today that a lot of our worth is based on who accepts our kindness and compassion rather than us just doing it for ourselves and because we want to be kind and compassionate.
The reason why I chose that quote is because no matter what the girl was doing, whether how she set up the table or whether or not she ate the fruit from the outside. It seemed like she was destined to be a slut, and all she wanted to become was a slut.
I thought it was significant because the mother believes that if the daughter follows all the rules listed, then she would become an exemplar female who is prim and proper and not a slut, which she very much despises.
As a woman, you should always find a man that's willing to support you, and if one doesn't work out, move right to the next one, but you always have to be desirable and always allow them to take care of you, and you always have to be on like tip-top shape and be perfect and beautiful and always have men wanting you and wanting to support you.
I felt this quote showed how Mr. Capasi began again to think negatively about Mrs. Das. He felt enamored by her when he thought that they were building a relationship outside both of their marriages. But when he found out about her affair, his attitude completely changed. She was no longer this beautiful young woman he was so enamored with, but a fallen woman, hiding an infidelity and a child's paternity from the world and her husband. I find this ironic that he was fine with her having an affair as having an affectionate relationship with him, but when she told him she had an affair with another man, his favor became negative.
This quote really helps identify who Mr. Capasi is as a character in this short story. It kind of shows how he's able to take some of the things Mrs. Das says and does in their little encounter and completely misinterprets all of her moves and all of the things that she does in such a way because he is so infatuated with her, which is a problem because Mrs. Das obviously does not feel the same way about Mr. Capasi. She thinks of him as more of a fatherly, wiser figure because of his job, whereas Mr. Capasi looks at it in more of a romantic relationship kind of feeling.
In regards to the Me Too movement, I feel that many women and even men don't want to address the fact that they were sexually harassed, assaulted, or even raped because they fear of being judged and not being seen as the victims that they are. Instead, people may ask them questions such as how they were dressed or how they let that situation happen. I feel that men and women should dress however they feel most comfortable and should not be feared from addressing such serious and traumatizing situations.
I think being a girl in modern society can be very fun. We have a lot more options than men do, I think. We have a lot of different ways we can dress. We can be girly girls, we could be tomboys, and nobody really looks at that and makes like huge judgments about us. We get to have a lot of like career options. We can be teachers or doctors, or we can stay at home and nobody really judges us for that. But then at the same time, there's all those dangers of you can't walk home alone because you're an easy target. You're made to feel like the way you dress is supposed to affect everyone around you, and you have to keep them in mind instead of you.
I believe females have come a long way. From having their voting rights passed in the early 1900s, females have fought for more equal opportunities and treatment with the rise of feminist movements. A pro for women that is fairly recent is that different body types and standards of beauty are being represented on the runway and in magazines. Also, there is more female representation in career fields that used to be strictly males, which is amazing and shows that anything a man can do, a woman can also do, or even better. However, there are still existing drawbacks. How could a male be paid $1 while a woman with the same job description be paid 80 cents, or even less if she is also part of a minority group? The inequality of the gender pay gap still confuses me and makes me question why it still exists.
In regards to the industry I've worked in for over 30 years, I feel that even though retail is a female-predominant field, most of the corporate is still male. When it comes to designs, they do not take all women into consideration. Why do we still have stores that only cater to women of a certain size, and we have to advertise stores for plus-size women as a specialty store? Why can't stores design for all women, especially since the average size women in America are size 14s? But in the positive side, we are seeing more plus-size women in the media. For the first time, Sports Illustrated put a plus-size model, Ashley Graham, on the Sports Illustrated cover. And we have actresses like Rebel Wilson and Chrissy Metz who are taking Hollywood by storm with their talent, and not just because of their size.
I think that now is probably the best time to be a woman. Is it perfect? No. But it's better than it's ever been. And I think as time goes on and people start accepting people for who they are and not their body or what they look like or their gender or sexual preferences, I think we can move forward as, you know, human race and acknowledge that women are more than housewives and moms and cleaners and cooks. They could be lawyers and professors and scientists, and they can be extremely smart and powerful and strong. And I think we're really realizing that more and more with each day that passes.
One thing that I think that I would like to see change is that from a male perspective, it saddens me that we still teach our young girls tips, tricks, and methods on how to avoid certain aspects of their life from like wrath of men. Like we teach our girls not to be alone at night because of fear of being robbed or sexually assaulted or kidnapped or anything from that aspect. We're coming up with inventions like the nail polish that turns a certain color if a drink is roofied at a bar, which is an amazing invention, but why does that have to exist? And I think instead of teaching our young girls how to be safe, which is what we should be teaching young boys, and is how to respect a woman, and that they're not subservient to us, and that we should not oppress them, and that we should not look at them differently, which is why we have predators and people who sexually assault and people who domestically abuse their wives and children, because we've brought on this male-dominated society that males are dominant, and I would like to see that go away and see women and men have this equality.
Oof, a situation in which I've been a woman. There are two that come directly to mind. One, when I first tried to come out to my mother as asexual, her immediate response was, "Oh, that's how you feel right now. You'll find someone. It's just temporary." And I know she meant to tell me, like, to not feel bad that, like, I couldn't find someone that I was romantically interested in, that I didn't want to, like, spend the rest of my life with. I think she thought I was just frustrated. But at the same time, she kind of said that your personal feelings about it are not important and that you should still strive to find someone to be interested in and, like, have a family with kids and things like that. I know she really wants grandkids. So yeah, that, like, it did, even from, like, another woman, it was kind of like your worth is still kind of connected to whether or not you have a man. And we've both grown past that and we've, like, fixed that problem, but it still was a little frustrating at the time.
I sat next to my friend and we ate lunch together, and when she was done eating, she left to go back onto the floor, and just as I was about to leave to go use the bathroom, the man was sitting across from us, and he started saying something to me, but I didn't hear him, so I got closer to him, and then he said that I forgot to give him my number, and I said, why? Because I didn't want to, like, assume, you know, that I was being, like, asked out or, like, flirted with. So I asked why, and he said, oh, I wanted to go to the restaurant we were talking about together. And then I said, I was very taken back. I didn't know what to say. Mind you that this man was much older than I am, around, like, mid-30s to early 40s. And I was just surprised about how quick, like, a casual conversation turned it into something very unprofessional in a working atmosphere.
Male boss were authoritative. His employers would respect him, while a female boss would be considered pushy. Another example I could think of is the Me Too movement. It is horrifying that people would question the woman's validity of their stories and ask questions like, why didn't she speak up when it happened, and how do we know the stories are real and not to garner attention? Why would anyone lie about being sexually abused to defame the men involved and gain publicity? An experience like that is not something to brag about and takes a lot of courage to announce to the world. Those women speak up in hopes that other victims won't feel alone and can also point the blame for those responsible.
There have been many times that I've been objectified by men. As a high school student, you see it a lot more, I feel, in school. Dating isn't easy. Boys will ask you for private pictures constantly, and it's a never-ending cycle, and they send you things that you didn't ask for and expect you to give them what they want, and when you don't, they get very upset and block you for doing nothing wrong, which has happened on more than one occasion, at least in my experience. And when you walk around the mall with your friends, just doing normal people things, and you have grown men wolf whistle at you or grab you by the loops of your jeans or try to follow you into the bathroom, it's extremely unnerving and disturbing for any woman or person to have to go through that on an everyday basis. And there's so many stories. People, just boys in school trying to touch you or grab you or grope you or whisper gross things in your ear that they expect to do something to you when it really just repulses you. Is a life that I have grown used to, which is sad. And that should change quickly.
As a female manager, I have felt objectified in regards to my position. I have had male clients ask to speak to the store manager, and when I've come and introduced myself, they have asked me if there is a male manager that they can speak to instead of me, even though I am the highest position manager in the store. It makes me feel like I can't do my job, or they don't think I can do my job correctly because I'm a female, opposed to them speaking to a male that may not be able to do the job as well as I can do it.
Another one was the one time I actually did try to date someone, and it lasted for one day because we went on this date and we just immediately had very different ideas of the roles that we were supposed to take. He was a really sweet guy, but he wanted to hold every door open for me, and he wanted to hold my things. He couldn't bear to see me hold a folder. It was a folder. I was holding a folder. And he was like, let me hold that for you. Let me buy your snacks. And I accepted the snacks because I'm not going to say no to free snacks. But everything was just... And then the cream de la crop, at the very, very end, we didn't end up together, but his friend ended up with my sister, and instead of being happy or just okay, congrats, I didn't get anything out of this, he got frustrated that one of them ended up dating one of me and my sister, and it was okay, so after all that, I was a trophy, a prize, and there's just so much that was hypocritical about all of it. There was so many juxtapositions. Everything was a huge oxymoron, and I don't know, I really hated it. It was a really bad experience.
I think that women in general have come far into the world. There's a lot of more, women politicians, women CEOs, or women of higher power than there were several years ago, and I think also that women are being treated more equal, but not entirely just yet, because we still get unequal pay, and you know, depending on like the race of your background as a woman, you can get like lesser pay than someone of a white woman compared to like a black woman or a Hispanic woman.
Society, we can work to get rid of, first and foremost, the gender pay gap. Workplaces and employers should pay their employees dependent on their education experience without considering their gender. Females shouldn't be afraid to speak up, and men shouldn't put them down for not being submissive and demanding that changes be made. In regards to the pink tax, I think it's unfair for women to have to face price discrimination because of their gender and pay for feminine products when they didn't ask to get their periods. I really like the advertisement for Always titled "Like a Girl." It relates to the story and women in general because they aim to change the phrase "like a girl," which was viewed as an insult, into a compliment that empowers girls.
Well, I know the first thing, everyone's probably said this already, but just equal pay. Just literally do not pay someone less because of anything. If they're disabled, or if they're a girl, or if they're a person of color, or if they're LGBT, nothing should affect your pay rather than just the position you have. The position should be the only thing that determines whether or not you make more money. Other things in society, though, that could influence it, I think more women in power, more women who don't have like someone connected to them, whether it's admiring like women scientists, like I can't remember her name, but the girl who just helped develop the first photo of a black hole, that's amazing. And like women who have made big rounds in chemistry, women who have made like steps in art and history and novels and math, and there's so many things that women help in and women have like made huge developments in, but we don't talk about them, and a lot of the times that makes their stories just lost. And I think if we have more role models, not only will we feel more like we can do anything and more strong, but also men will have a greater understanding of like, yeah, that's normal. That's not like, oh, she's just a special woman. No, like women can always do that.
One thing that I would like to see more of within the community of women is to lift each other up more. We're so used to being pinned against each other and who's more beautiful or who's more that. And there's so much hate on social media and women just hating other women for the way they look or the way that they place their body or how comfortable they are in their sexuality, constantly bringing each other down for just simple things. And I think that's something that needs to change. I think women need to empower other women because no one else is going to do it for us.
Something we can do better is I would love to see women designing for women, empowering them with styles that work for all women, for everybody, not just the ultra skinny. All women deserve to feel beautiful and be professionally dressed for work and for play. Where the media has taken great strides with body positivity, designers have not gotten on board.
I think looking at our history and seeing how in this modern era we are able to appreciate females who have made such wonderful strides in certain aspects of life and in certain industries. We have things like Women's History Month where we are able to honor remarkable, astounding women that young girls are able to look up for. We can honor the Katherine Johnsons who have made great strides in science and things of space. We're able to honor someone like Frida Kahlo who made great strides in the artistic world, and even pioneers like Amelia Earhart. And it's really nice to see that women are getting their chance to be in positions of power and leadership. We obviously still have a lot of ways to go before there's an equal advantage of having men and women in certain positions of power like CEOs and Congress and the Senate and governmental positions, but it's a really nice start, and I hope this is a good movement that we get to see go forward in the future.
With all the points that I've mentioned, I feel that overall the future is female. My name is Alexandra, and I am girl.
My name is Erin, and I am a girl.
Sarah Park, and I am a girl.
I am Amanda, and I am a girl.
Hi, I'm Deb Lester. I'm a wife, I'm a mom, I'm a professional, but I'll always be a girl.
I'm Justin Lester, and I am a supporter of girls.
Hi guys, welcome to my channel. Welcome back to my channel. It's Amanda. If you don't know the song, look it up right now. It's called Big Girls by Mika. You'll thank me later. So I do this every day. That's a big lady. That's me. Ah! Hi friends. You don't know me, we could be besties. I do this a lot. If you don't like this, then move on to the next video. Swipe up. Bye friends. Toodles.